lives, yeah, upgrading. Call it suicide of these older generations. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough.
Well, okay, we made it, and we're all here.
We are here.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
My name is. I'm echoing. Somebody's got their YouTube open. Okay, Lexi, it's coming from you.
I don't have anything. I don't have anything on. Can you hear me echoing?
No,
Okay.
but somebody has some echo somewhere.
Let me see.
I don't have YouTube. I do have it up, but it's muted, so I know that it's not me. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Hopefully, it's not hurting everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, no thanks. Angel talks too fast. Sally, Becca. Bethel, how do you say that, Arctic? Betheas. Betheas. Okay. Hey, thanks. Welcome. I haven't been live for like 3 months. A long time. Very long time. Lots going on. Yeah, your echo is coming from you, Lexi.
Okay. Yeah. See, it's not gonna. I'm gonna have to go on the computer.
All you have to do is mute yourself until you talk.
Okay.
There you go. There. Now we don't have an echo. Sorry, everybody, for the echo. Hello, Paul. Very, very nice to see you too. It's been like 3 months since I've been live. A lot has been going on in the true crime community. In the real crime community, there's, as you all know, million missing. I personally haven't been around because I am doing some emergency foster caring for 5 children, 3 dogs, 4 cats. So that's why you guys haven't seen me very much.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
You're funny. Yeah. But so that's why I haven't been doing very much, but I will be doing back in full force when I am done and the adoption is final for my friend. So that is, hi, Barbara. Nice to see you. So that's what I've been doing. Arctic, what have you been doing? We see you all the time.
I have been staying busy trying to keep on top of all these missing kids that are going missing, and was very grateful when the little boy was found in Indiana yesterday, the one that had the Amber Alert out of Ohio, little Kaysen.
Yeah, that's great. The twins, that twins case, kind of one found, one still missing, but he was found again.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, that was a crazy case. And then we've got little Madalena Kojikari missing, and that's a messed up case too.
Yeah. Hi, Tara. Welcome. And we have some new members to Arctic and I's real crime community. We have Garnett and Red Bull Coffee and Crime. They have a channel, Red Bull Coffee and Crime. How are you guys doing?
I am doing good. Am I still echoing when I talk?
No.
Okay. So yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, this is me and Garnett's channel, you guys. If you aren't subscribed yet, we work on this together. Garnett, how are you doing today?
I am great. Merry Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve. Busy as hell, trying to keep up with everything. You guys are definitely my information hub, so,
Yeah. Well,
I feel the
Lexi
same
keeps
way.
us
I
going.
wake up and I have like all these messages and I'm behind and I go up and I'm like, oh my God, there's like 9 cases like already posted by 9 in the morning.
Hi, I'll be Frank. Welcome. Yeah, talking to Angel talks too fast. Yeah, Lexi is like in our group chat. It's bing, 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 bing. This girl works a million. Her mind is just like million tracks at one time going, and we have to slow her down sometimes. But she's really a lot. She's very, very on top of things.
It's my ADHD, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We have another member who's not able to make it. That's Avery Shannon. She's got really bad connections with the internet since it's freezing cold everywhere. I mean, it is like 2 below right now, and it was 11 below when I woke up, and it's cold everywhere. I don't know where all you are from, but I'm sure all of the United States looks like it's cold, except for Florida. So anyway, Lexi, you and Garnett have been really like your main case that you started with was Chiron, right? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we met through Chiron Horman, who disappeared June 4th, 2010 in Portland, Oregon from his elementary school, Skyline Elementary School. So we were in other Facebook groups and we all just kind of connected somehow. We met James, which is Terry Horman. Terry Horman is the stepmother that raised Chiron and took him to school the day he disappeared. So it's been 12 years. We are trying to bring as much awareness as we can because for the past 12 years, the focus has been on 2 people instead of Chiron. So, what we do is certain things in our Facebook group to try to get people to print out his flyers, hang them up, just anything we can to bring more awareness. Like we said, there's no evidence that he is not with us anymore. So we feel people should definitely still be looking.
Oh, 100%.
It's a lot. This case is really a lot. Garnett, do you have anything to say about Chiron? There's so much. I mean,
I think you covered it pretty well. Chiron he's got this goofy little smile that stole all our hearts 12 years ago. And, none of us are going to be satisfied until he's home. And that's what we do. That's every day. At some point in the day, Chiron is my focus.
Wow. That's a very long time for somebody to go missing and not have anything at all. That's really long time. But speaking of that, I'd like to, and now I will let Arctic talk about this because this is something that really he is passionate about is the boy in the box. So Arctic, do you want to talk about the recent developments that happened with that?
Yeah, I mean, this is why I say it's so important, even though it's controversial, to put your DNA in a public database, because had it not been for the DNA available in the public databases, little Joseph would have never been identified as the boy in the box. And so it's amazing. 50 years, 65-year-old cold case, finally gets solved his identity, and they are still actively pursuing who was responsible for doing it to that little boy. we are not certain at this point. There's a lot of theories out there. And they did also say that they had gone through adoption records to try to figure out who the little boy was. So it is a possibility. They didn't release the names of his biological parents, but there's a good possibility that he wasn't even with his biological parents at the time that this had happened to him.
Yeah, I'm absolutely amazed that they are able to use DNA now. I mean, because, DNA is really doing a lot. To 65 years, that's a long, long time. So there's hope for everybody, don't ever give up.
Well, yeah, the DNA is solving a lot of cold cases. This is how they caught the Golden State Killer, was through DNA technology, and they're going and they're digging in a lot of other serial killers' yards and stuff, trying to identify remains that have never been able to be identified and seeing if there's any more victims out there. Hey, Avery.
Hey, Avery, you should be up here.
That's how I feel. Solely, you asked where the age progression photos are. If you go onto our YouTube channel, we have them up, or if you are on Facebook and want to join Kyron Horman Investigation New, Old, and Ignored Tips, those are you can get them from there. They just released the newest one, June 4th, 2022.
I will drop your link in the chat.
But
all
like
the
you
links
guys said,
to
there's
all of our channels are in the description.
Like there's never, you can never lose hope. After like the boy in the box, how long? 60 years? 60 what was it? 60 years?
65 years, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and then people come out all the time, and they come out 50 years, 40 years, 20 years, and you just can't ever give up. So it would be amazing if you guys could go and print out flyers, hang them up. You never know what state these children could be in.
And I just want to cut in here, Lexi. Kyron would be 20 years old now. He went missing when he was 7. He's been gone 12 years, and he'd be 20 years old now.
Yeah, and there's plenty of
I'm going to
cases.
share screen and show you, and show Kyron. So here we go. I can't see right now, so can anybody, let me see, go over here. There we go. Yep, he's up. So this is Kyron, and there is this age progression from the time he went missing into the time now, so you can all see.
Yeah, thank you for pulling that up. And if the police didn't think that there was a chance he would be alive, I really do not think that they would have made these age progression photos. So,
right. So that's Kyron, and let me see. Arctic dropped a bunch of posters for me, so it's really the link doesn't work. Oh well, we'll get you a new one right now, honey. Okay, this is. I'll drop it in the chat here. Okay, that's for Avery. Go ahead, and then let me see who else do we have there. Here we go. Show. Let me stop sharing. Okay, this is. I'm trying to get my my sea legs back here from doing this in a while. Okay, hi Brandy, welcome. He just had his 20th birthday. Oh, thank you so much. Hugs. I give hugs to everybody. Okay, let me see. What else does Arctic have in here? I know he has more photos. Let's see. Who else has he got? Well, long as Brandy's here, let's bring up her beautiful son, Michael, who has been missing, and we'll let Avery up. Hello, Avery. Welcome.
Buenas tardes.
Okay, let me share this here. Share this.
You're echoing really bad. I don't know if you have Facebook open, but you have a bad echo.
It's through Lexi.
Oh,
I'm muted.
She's muted now, so then there we go. Okay, and here is Michael Monkey Vaughn, and he's look at him, his beautiful little face. Arctic, you want to speak?
Well, I know that, they've done the searches. We're all aware of the Wanderers being arrested and everything, but we need to keep hope out there that Monkey will be found. There's been no remains found at this time. There's nothing proof positive that he's no longer with us. And until something proof positive comes forward, we need to keep that faith out there that we can bring Monkey home safe. So continue to share his flyers, continue to keep his face out there, and continue to support this family who has been fully cooperative with law enforcement from day one, unlike some of the cases where I cover parents that wait 3 weeks before they even report their child missing. So
amen. Brandy has been a force for not only her own son, but for all the missing. She's made changes in her state for the Amber Alert. And although it doesn't help for her own son, it does help for others. And, she's an inspiration for all of us to keep their names out, to keep their faces out. And that's what you can do. That's the best thing you can do. We always tell our subscribers, share what we're doing, share their faces, because it just takes the right set of eyes to bring them home. So continue to do so. Continue to keep prayers and hope. Small little word, but has a whole lot of real true meaning. So that is Michael. And okay, Avery, we'll talk to you for a second here since Lexi dropped off because she has an echo. Anyway, so this is another addition to the real crime community. Avery, she's been around for a while, but she does true crime, classy as she is.
Oh, thank you. I do all my shit talking in other people's chats, and then I keep it classy on my channel.
Yeah, kind of like me. So you been working on anything specific?
I actually put together everything to do a video last night on Madalena Kojakari. Am I saying that right?
Kojakari.
Yeah. And so I have, all the information. I just haven't put the video together.
That case is more messed up by the minute, the more information that comes out. Now they're saying that the parents had a big old bonfire out in the yard or something just shortly after she went missing, which is a huge red flag.
Right.
As if them waiting 3 weeks to report her missing wasn't a red flag enough. So
yeah, and then the stepdad, he says the last time that he's seen her was November 16th, which doesn't make any sense because she was seen on the school bus surveillance footage November 21st.
November 21st at 4:59 p.m. And I did a video with that surveillance footage over on my channel. So much doesn't make any sense at all to me. And then there was that last minute trip that he made to Michigan on the day before Thanksgiving. What was so important that he had to leave the day before Thanksgiving to go to Michigan?
Right. And the mom has changed the dates that she last seen her daughter. In one police affidavit, it says November 22nd. And then she changed it to November 23rd, which is the day that her husband left for Michigan. So I don't know if she's trying to pin something on him or what her purpose was of changing dates, but that was concerning to me too.
Well, there's a lot of concerns. The mother says that she's going to bring Madalena in the next day after, school resource officers knock on her door. Then she shows up and says, I'm sorry. She's actually been missing since this date. And I'm like, really? Who does something like that? You've got to have some type of mental instability I'm sorry, but I'm getting Casey Anthony vibes all the way around from this case, the more that comes out.
Oh,
Yeah, and they said they had the RSO in there whenever she came in for the truancy appointment, and she did not even want to tell it then that her daughter was missing. They basically had to drag it out of her. The words used in the affidavit was she begrudgingly told that her daughter was missing. She did not want to tell it even then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other question I have is, why did it take 3 weeks for the school to finally become concerned enough about this child not being there for them to send a school resource officer out to the house? 3 weeks is an alarming amount of time to pass before they finally send someone out there.
Why would you wait? Why?
Just because I'm I work all the time. How old is this baby?
She's 11.
Oh my God.
Why would you wait? Why would anybody wait if their child was missing? Now, this is my thoughts are, and this is my opinion, just because that's what we do on the think tank. We give opinions and speculate. And I'm going to give my opinion. There's a reason why you do not report your child missing. You either know what happened to your child or you don't want them found. You don't want anybody to know they're missing.
Right. And then
a question for you. Do you think bringing the bio dad to America might help the mom tell the truth?
I don't even know who the biological dad is. I seen an interview where the grandfather, so it's Madalena's mom, Diana's father, where he did an interview, but I haven't heard or seen anything from the biological father.
Wow.
And I did see where when they sent the truancy officer out to the house, they also sent a counselor along with the officer because they had been having concerns about her behaviors, in school, the way that she dressed, the way they said about she didn't want to take her jacket off even in the summertime. But I did notice on the bus footage, she had her jacket off and you could see her arms. They said she was withdrawn, and so they already had concerns. So when they sent the officer out, they sent a counselor, along with the officer, I guess, probably to be able to take her, if she would have been home, to take her aside and see what was going on. So I feel like they knew something was going on and they should have reported it sooner.
Yeah, I just sent checking a letter that was posted yesterday that was written by a family member. We don't know which family member wrote this letter, but it got posted yesterday. And I think it warrants being put up because the letter reads, "We as a family are devastated and absolutely heartbroken to learn that Madalena is missing. We love Madalena and are shocked by these circumstances. This is something no child or family should ever have to endure. Our family is doing everything we know to do to support the efforts to find Madalena and bring her home. We are and continue to have hope and positivity in this difficult time and pray that she is found safe very soon. We know and greatly appreciate that the local, state, national, and online communities have come together to share flyers and offer positive support, hold prayer vigils, support law enforcement, and are doing everything possible to find and bring Madalena safely home. We also appreciate all the efforts, endless hours, and boots on the ground of the local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies that have the same goal." And I don't know who wrote this letter because both the stepfather and the mother are in jail. And from my understanding, most of the other family was out of the country.
I suspect that it's the stepfather's family in Michigan that wrote the letter. And I seen where they asked to be kept anonymous. And so I sort of think that it's his family that wrote it.
Whoever wrote it, I mean, I've done some classes on handwriting analysis, and it appears to be a woman's handwriting, whoever wrote the letter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have a question, guys. Why is it not illegal to not report, especially a child missing?
It is. That's what the the stepdad and the mom are in jail for right now, is failure to report a child missing.
Okay.
Yeah, that law came
Not that
from
way everywhere, correct?
that came from Kaylee Anthony. It's called, I believe it's called the Kaylee Act. And that's when it became a crime not to report a missing.
Right. Because I just don't understand how. I don't understand how you have a child and it go missing and you don't. Like, that's the first thing. If you were not in some way involved or responsible, and it doesn't mean that you necessarily hurt the child, but if you're not some way responsible for that child missing, how do you not report that?
I would go insane.
I agree. And you know how I feel about re-victimizing families and whatnot. But here you have so many red flags that are standing out, just with alarms going off, that you can't help but speculate that either the stepfather or the mother had something to do with her disappearance. And especially going 3 weeks without reporting the child is missing, and having it take a school resource officer to your house because she hasn't been to school. Yeah, there's something going on with these parents. I'm sorry.
Oh, I 100% agree. Am I mute? Okay, I'm not muted. Sorry if you heard typing. Yeah, I 100% agree. There's a definite reason why they would not report that. It's very suspicious. I mean, I cannot think of a good reason not to call in a missing child, 11 years old. I mean, I can see if it's a teenager and you're used to them running away and the mother just thinks, well, hey, I know where they're at, what are you going to do? They're going to keep running away, maybe? I don't know. But this is an 11-year-old. And I don't think she's capable.
I mean, the first hour of them being missing.
I'm sorry, Arctic, what did you say?
I said, if that's my child, I'd been on that phone screaming from the rooftops within the first hour that the child was missing.
Oh, yeah. I think most of us would.
I wouldn't have waited 3 weeks.
Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't wait 3 hours. You know what I mean? My kid's missing and it's been a while. I'm gonna know what's going on. The world's too damn evil. I mean, come on. You got to be hiding under a rock if you don't see what's happening to children and adults all around the world. So you would not, it's okay for your child to just not be seen. I mean, there's something, it's nefarious for sure. And it's, I hate to say it, but I think they know what happened to this child. And it isn't good.
Checking convictions. I was hoping too that you could, before you end this, that you could pull up Samantha Humphrey, because she's so heavy on my mind, and she's 14, but they haven't found her yet, and it's just not looking good.
Okay, Samantha Humphrey. I got to find a poster. Unless you have one you want to drop in our group chat. And
dang, I don't, because
let me give it real quick.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
And I'll drop.
Okay, stop sharing that. Don't need to see that.
I mean, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. That's
the other one.
We're all here for that. We're here to to speak on the cases. We do have, gosh, I can never say his name, Arctic. I don't know how to say his name.
Betheas Byte.
Huh?
Are you
Yes.
talking about Betheas Byte?
Yes. We have him right here. He just joined us.
Hi, Bethea.
How you doing?
Bethea.
How you doing?
Bethea. I can say it now.
Or just call
Sorry
me the last outlaw.
The last outlaw. Well, I want to say hi to Callie and to Steve from True Crime Web and AP and Bob. So nice to see you. I'll be frank. You have a Merry Christmas. I just want to make sure I said hi to everybody and Merry Christmas to everybody. Go ahead, continue, guys. I'll be right back. Take over.
Yeah, I was going to make mention of I was going to make mention of some of these missing persons cases. First off, I am so glad that Hassan was found. That
was like a Christmas miracle.
You said the exact same thing I was thinking when I found out he was found safe.
Yeah, I feel like that literally was a miracle.
Mm-hmm. But hey, that's just one. We got so many left. You mentioned Samantha. You mentioned I saw Everly's flyer just came up on screen. Kyron is still alive.
Yeah.
I mean, here we are, Christmas 2022, and so many kids nowadays.
Yep. It's heartbreaking. So while
go ahead.
While Arctic is looking for Samantha's flyer, I'll just tell everybody. So she is from Schenectady, New York, and she's been missing for a month. She's 14 years old. And what happened is she snuck out after her mom went to sleep, and she went to meet an ex-boyfriend that she was not supposed to have contact with because he had been abusive to her. And she went to meet him at the river. Now, the boyfriend claims that the ex-boyfriend claims that they got into an argument, that she bit his hand, and so he left her there at the river. So this would be around like 11 p.m. at night. Well, she's never been seen again, but it was like 2 days later, her jacket came floating up in the river and it was found on the riverbank, and it has blood on it. And the police did find her cell phone dead, and they have searched that river, and nothing. It has been a month and absolutely nothing. And she was supposed to go on a trip with her dad and her dad's child to I want to say Puerto Rico. No, not Puerto Rico. They were going on a Christmas vacation that she was super excited to go on. And so like she's like even her mom said if it was just a runaway situation, she definitely would have been back by now. But she has no phone, she has no money, and not even her jacket, because they found, like I said, they found her jacket and it did have blood on it.
Oh man, that is terrible.
I am back. I'm so sorry. I've got a bad feeling about it. I agree with you.
We have to mute. Red Bull has to mute every time. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, honey.
I just said after everything that Avery just made mention about her, the jacket floating, having blood in it, and all, and it being found in a river, cell phone dead. I just have a real bad feeling about this.
Yeah, Even Steve, yeah, he says the same thing. Not going to end well.
Yeah,
No.
and I keep thinking because in New York it's so cold, and so even
Yes.
like if
Yes.
she was out there injured, it's been a month. How could she have, I don't want to like speak it into existence, that she isn't alive, but
You're right.
she's been really heavy on my heart because she's just 14 years old, and I snuck out at 14 years old. That doesn't mean you deserve, something, nef- something, sinister to happen to you.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
this is one of those cases that I want to be proven wrong. I do want to be proven wrong. And
Yeah.
Samantha's found some.
Ooh, hey, I see Sully's got Alabama Roll Tide. Yo, Roll Tide up in the house.
Sully is one wonderful, wonderful person. I mean, she is the kindest human being you ever want to meet. She really is. Take care, Sully. You be safe. And Merry Christmas to you. And Mr. Steve, you go help with your 4-year-old tornado and have a very Merry Christmas. Thank you so very much for stopping by. It was great to see you.
I gotta break Sully's heart though and tell her my daughter's going to grad school at Auburn.
I don't know what that means. It must be the South thing.
Yep.
Okay. Because
So
I'm up in the frozen north. Where y'all go? Go ahead, Lexi.
Oh, what did I miss? I'm sorry. I had technical difficulties.
Well, you missed a lot. You just missed everything. We're about ready to end now.
What?
I'm just kidding.
No. I'm like, it just started.
She's messing with you. She's just messing with you.
Okay, I sent Samantha's flyer so you can put it up on the screen.
Okay.
Great.
I wish Arctic would read his story.
Mute every time I'm talking, Lexi. Please. Okay. Now I'll put up the picture and you go right ahead, Avery.
Well, I'll retell it.
No, I thought you just said something.
Oh, I forgot what I said. Shit.
Jeez. Boy, we really are a think tank, aren't we?
Oh, I said I really wish Arctic would read his Christmas story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Could you please tell the story real quick so we can all have a fucking laugh? I really
We'll do it
need a
at the
laugh.
end.
You're always trying to get me on a clip channel is what you're trying to do.
You're trying to get my channel on the clip channel. Let's get real. Hey, then I'll nominate it, right? What a way to come back.
There's nothing wrong with a funny Christmas story, and oh my god, it is hilarious, you guys.
Well, we can do that like towards the end. How's that? This is the picture right here, Avery.
Yeah.
Yes, that's Samantha. And so I think you were gone checking when I was talking about it, but so she's been missing a month. She snuck out. She's 14 years old. After her mom went to sleep, her mom's a school teacher. After her mom went to sleep, she snuck out and went and met an ex-boyfriend who she's not supposed to have contact with because he has been abusive. And he's 14 also. And she went and met him under a bridge at the river. And it was around 10:30 at night.
Wow.
The ex-boyfriend says that they got into an argument and that she bit his hand. So he walked away and left her there alone. And she has not been seen since. Well, a couple of days later, her jacket washed up in the river and was found on the bank, the river bank, and it does have blood on it. The fur that goes around the hood of your jacket, it had blood on the fur. And the police did find her cell phone, and we don't know where they found it, and it was dead. And she was supposed to go on a Christmas vacation with her dad and his family out of the country that she was really excited about. So they don't think it's a runaway situation. And I guess that's really, I think that really kind of sums it up.
Yeah, I mean, and that one's a case that is very worrisome. There's a video over on my channel on that one as well.
What
Someone
video
had
is it on your
mentioned
channel?
someone had mentioned Everly George,
Yes.
and honestly, instead of just putting her flyer up, I did put a video out on her this morning. If you want to play that video, it tells the whole story.
Yeah. Okay.
I shared that.
Drop it in the chat, and I will definitely do that because I am not able to go searching through
Okay.
your channel of 1 million that you probably done yesterday, today. You know, Arctic is the one that puts out the most of any YouTuber. I can say that with confidence all the way around, that he puts out more videos on the missing than anybody does. Most people stick to one story and they go through it. And I respect that. But I also know that there is such a need to see the faces that people don't see. And I think he's a blessing to our community. We all need to do more.
Yes.
Like even just showing like posters like this while we're having a live. You just flash through them if you can. Some people can't do it. I mean, I understand it isn't their forte or they don't want to do it, but honestly, Arctic is inspiration to all of us for that. And we will show the film for this in just a second here. Let me get to, I gotta go switch screen. You know. Okay.
He's one of the reasons why I got into this in the first place.
Yeah. He's ever since I met him, I said, you are an inspiration. Okay, I'm gonna share this as soon as let me stop this. There we go. Start from the beginning. Oh no, not now. Okay. Let me get over here. Share screen. Please bear with me, people. Okay. Chrome tab. Okay, let me get over here. Here we go.
Welcome back to the channel.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Today, we're looking at the missing persons case of 3-year-old Everly George, who is missing out of Indianapolis, Indiana. It's a very difficult case for me to talk about because this could have been completely prevented. Those of you that have been with my channel for a little bit will remember that we've talked about Everly George before, about 4 months ago, when in their infinite wisdom, the New Hampshire court system decided to take Everly out of a home that she had been in for 2 years, being very loved and very cared for, and return her to a mother that was at that time actively prostituting herself, not only on OnlyFans, but also in real life. And the family had screenshots to prove that this was going on off of her Facebook profile. Because she wasn't ashamed of what she was doing, she actively promoted her deeds all over her Facebook page. And now, the Indianapolis CPS system has lost Everly. We don't know where Everly's at, and we don't know the exact date that she went missing. We know that it's approximately, well, we know that it's before the 19th of December, but that's when this got reported officially as a missing child, was on the 19th of December 2022. Everly is 3 years old, about 3 feet tall, 32 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes. She was last seen in medical distress, and she could be in the company of her mother, Samantha George, in a red 2007 Chrysler. Anyone that has information on Everly is asked to contact the Indianapolis police at 317-327-6500. Guys, I am so livid right now. It's not even funny. Back 4 months ago, we talked about this, and I told you that something like this was so likely to happen, that Everly had every chance of becoming another Harmony Montgomery because she was being put back in the hands of an unfit parent. She was ripped away from her family that she knew. Her mother had abandoned her for over 2 years. Her little brother was being raised in the same environment as she was, and she got separated from her little brother because her little brother, fortunately, had been legally adopted by family members. But Everly did not get that opportunity. Not that they didn't want to adopt her, but that a judge decided that it would be better to go against the guardian ad litem's advice and return Everly to an unfit mother. And now here we are, 4 months later, and little Everly is missing. Guys, we need to find this little girl. And I hope to God that the system does not return her back to this woman, Samantha George, if she's found. I hope to God that what would happen is that Everly would be returned back to the family that loves her and cares about her, that's raising Everly's little brother, and she goes back to that nurturing environment. If you look on my channel, there's a shorts video that shows Everly's reaction to having to be returned back to Samantha George. It's not real pretty to look at, but it's important. And there's also a couple of lives where we discussed this case and what was likely to happen in the event that she was allowed to go back to Samantha. And I'll put those links in the description of this video because it's important. It's important to see how everyone was calling this out, warning that something like this could happen. And now here we are 4 months later, and our worst fears have transpired. Now, hopefully Everly's still alive. Hopefully she's out there somewhere and we can find her safe. But we definitely need to get her face plastered all over social media. This cannot keep being allowed to happen. We cannot keep allowing these kids to be returned to unfit parents. Reunification is not the answer in these cases, guys. It's just not. And why she was allowed to get her daughter back after abandoning her for 2 years is beyond me to begin with. And why any court would go against the guardian ad litem's advice, for that matter. That is something I have never seen in any case other than this one. So, guys, I am asking you, no, I am begging you to give this video a like. It does help more people to see Everly's face and to hear her story. The more people that see this little girl, the better the chances are that we can recover her safe before she becomes another statistic. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, consider clicking that subscribe button. But the most important thing I need all of you to do, every last one of you, is to click that share button. Share this to your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram. It takes 1 second of your time to do. And by God, it can make all the difference in the world in whether we're able to find this little girl and bring her home safe or not. As always, guys, I do want to thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Y'all be kind to one another out there, and let's find Everly and bring her home.
Very, very good. Arctic, you tell it like it is. That poor child was she was thriving. She was doing excellent, happy, and given back to her by a mom who's a hoe. Let's face it, don't care about nothing but getting the money, and why she needs that money to survive like that, I have no idea, unless she's on drugs. I don't know that either. I'm not going to accuse. I do not know. But unfortunately, she's not a mother, and she was given back this poor child who has no choice, who cannot speak for herself.
And if we'll remember back to the original videos that we did on this, it was during COVID. CPS didn't even make an in-home visit. They did all their visits virtually.
Yeah.
This woman was living in a fucking hotel is where she was living at the time that this child was given back to her.
And we seen the text messages that she was doing and what she was, making dates and having a joined room, and how safe is that for a child? You know what I'm saying?
Well, and
It's
she
not.
had a previous
Not.
lover of hers killed, I believe, by another gang member or something like that.
Right.
There was one of her boyfriends had gotten killed, and then this judge that made the wonderful decision to return Everly to this mother had already been under scrutiny because she had just denied a protection order to a woman against an abusive boyfriend,
Who was
and that
killed?
woman ended up getting shot and was in the
Ooh.
hospital in a coma.
Yep. That is I mean, what
I
choices are they
hope
making?
I hope that judge is kicking herself right now.
Well, it's at the
I
cost
really
of
and truly hope that judge is kicking herself.
a judge shouldn't be making mistakes like that. That's costing people their
No.
lives. And
Well, it's obvious that the state of New Hampshire has learned absolutely fucking nothing from Harmony Montgomery at all.
I was just going to say that. Isn't there another case where a child, beautiful young little girl, was failed by the state? They need to take a look. I mean, the people that live in that state, you better look at your voting, because that's where it comes from. And that's the only change you're going to be able to make. Unfortunately, I wish it was us speaking and they would listen and do changes. But unfortunately, the world works through government, and government is politics.
Sadly.
And we have to vote.
Sadly.
That's how we do it. It is sad, because I think the people,
Yes.
if they listen to the people, they would be making changes, because it is outrageous. I mean, we're not just a few people here saying this stuff is outrageous. There's millions of people saying this. They just don't listen to us. And that
I don't want to get
forever to find out, Arctic, to be totally honest with you, I've been so out of the loop with this fostering and not being able to be on here because 5 kids take up your time. I didn't know she was missing again. So my heart is breaking right now. Honestly. It didn't take very long, did it, for something to happen?
No, 4 months, 4 effing months.
That poor
She's already missing. And from what I understand, because I was in the Everly group, she's been missing longer than the 4 months. They believe she was missing almost as soon as she went back.
Probably. She probably sold her. I mean, that's the kind of person she is. Who knows? I mean, come on. How do you lose your child? People just don't. This is just, a lot of it is these parents. I mean, what's the matter with them? They don't call in on their kids. They take kids that they can, they abuse them while they have them, when they should be giving them to people that can't have children or who would give them loving homes. I mean, what is going on in this world? What? I don't know.
Check
Very
it.
upsetting.
You're repeating some of the same things I would say.
I think a lot of us.
You're not gonna. If they're not gonna take care of the child, give them to someone who wants them.
Yeah.
Well, we've got to stop with this reunification being a priority bullshit. I'm sick of it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like I'm going through that right now, Arctic. It is a mother. I can't really say because it's an ongoing case, but let's just put it this way: it is so it's not reunification, okay? Because the mother is no good. Let's just say that, okay? So, I when I can speak on this, I will, and you'll see that things can be done for bettering the children, and I just so happen to be bettering for these children.
But so often in these cases, that's what they want to do. They want to reunify these kids. Even the standard in the foster care system and people that have been through the fostering process, they tell you don't get attached to these kids because they're going to end up going back to their parents.
Exactly.
And, not every time. I mean, there are cases where reunification is a good goal to have, but not in cases where there's drug use and violence and everything going on. I can see it in cases where, hey, they didn't have a good job and they needed to better themselves. They needed to learn how to properly take care of their apartment and stuff. But in cases where you've got boyfriends getting shot dead, a woman prostituting herself, and drug use going rampant, no, there is no need to reunify.
I mean, when they were
No.
checking out the mother to see what kind of, changes she has made, to bring the child back to her, what did she say for a job? I mean, what is she? A love counselor? I mean, really, seriously, what did she say for a job that would be acceptable? I mean, what
a love
you know what I
That's a
mean?
good one.
What is this? No more lonely men's club therapy, or I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I gave her the nickname Cyber Slut, but
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. What did she say to Child Protective Services was her job, what she was going to be able to take care of this child? Where was her income coming from? She had to list that. They don't just give it to you. You know what I mean? I mean,
I'm sure she did some little form of work long enough to get her kids back
I
part-time or
doubt that
something like
she
that.
ever flipped a burger. Okay. And she never did anything to
Mm.
make enough money to even, with a child. And I'm not saying that just because you don't make enough money, because there's services for people and they're great parents just because they have low
Oh,
income.
yeah,
does not mean that.
some of the best parents in the world
Yes.
don't make a lot of money. But
Exactly.
they're also not spreading their legs like the butter in Paula Dean's kitchen for all to see either.
With their kids in the next hotel room, and they're just going to open a door and go in there and have wild sex while their kids alone in a hotel room.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Craziness. That's just crazy to me.
Totally wild.
I don't get that. Them are cases that just make me want to just I really literally just want
Reach
to
out and just squeeze someone.
just like smack them in the head and say, "Wake up! Time to wake up! Get off whatever you're on and just wake up." But that's
Thank
like
you.
saying you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right?
But you can't make them drink.
That's right. So I don't know. There's a lot of crazy cases out there. Quentin
And for
Simon.
some of these so-called parents, my gosh, for
Yeah.
some of these so-called parents, they're not parents. They're only parents by title only.
Yeah,
The actual name for them is monster.
exactly. And I said
The
recently,
actual name for them is monster, and I stand by it.
yeah, and monsters are not just under your bed anymore, right? They're everywhere.
No,
Exactly.
no.
I mean, and you brought Quentin Simon up. That's another case where
Yeah.
the system failed because, Leilani's
Ooh.
mother, little Billy Joe, should have never been given custody with her rap sheet. And then she violates the custody agreement, allows Leilani to continue to have access to Quentin. And now look where we are.
And she only had custody 1
Mhm.
week of little Quentin. 1 week.
Right.
And he went missing. And she continues to claim, and others do on this platform who are sticking up for her, claim that she never left the Quentin with Leilani. Well, who did she leave the baby with then? The boyfriend? Because just because you did not leave the child alone with Leilani did not stop that child from being murdered by her. Okay, so
It's
you left
questions
town.
and actions like that. It's questions and
I'm
actions
sorry.
like that is the reason why she's charged with 19 counts, including felony murder.
Well, malice murder is
Malice
cruel,
murder.
and it's cruel, and it's
Yeah,
a
but
cruel
see,
way
the
to die.
thing is that Billy Joe should be facing some of those same charges that Leilani is.
I was just going to say that. I absolutely agree that the person who was legally responsible for that child should have some kind of neglect charges towards them.
Child endangerment.
Yes, it ended in
Can
a
I
death.
get an amen on that?
Amen, because it ended in a death. And the one who was responsible was not the babysitter. Okay, she didn't hire her to take care of that child day and night. Okay, and it was not Leilani, and it was not whoever she left that child with, since she's claiming she didn't leave it with Leilani. Then it was hers. Billy Joe was the responsible legal guardian of that child. So in my eyes, I'm sorry she lost a grandchild, and I'm sorry that she has 2 murderers for children. I don't blame her for that, and I'm sorry that she has to go through that as far as a feeling as a human. But your legal and human responsibility was with Quentin, and you left him knowing that she was abusive. Why did you have custody? You must have known this, that she was harmful to the child. So to me, she is legally responsible and should be legally charged with something, in my eyes.
Yep.
That's my opinion.
Of the 19 charges that Leilani is facing, I believe Billy Joe should at least get about 9, maybe 10 of those.
Ongoing drug use in the house,
That's
partying
right.
out there. How about yelling outside your home, justice for Quentin, when you are the murderer and you know where your child is? Wow. Who does them kind of things, right?
Monsters do.
Callie, I don't know if that's been stated or not. I know right now there is a gag order in place, which is what actually Billy Joe did go to jail for. She's out now.
Right.
But she went to jail for violating the gag order is what she went to jail for.
Yeah. I mean, I was sorry that she did not go for something to do with him, but she did violate the gag order by talking about the other children. And I guess you're not allowed to do that. And well, no, none of us knew that, right? She did.
Billy Joe lost any little bit of sympathy that I may have had for her when she decided to go slugging back drinks with the woman that murdered her grandson.
Yeah.
Well,
and let's just put it this way: do you really?
I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but like you, Fox, I had no sympathy for her at all. None.
Yeah, I haven't either. Sorry, I'm a grandma, and if I had legal custody, there's no way that I would allow the child to be with the abuser. Absolutely not. That's why you have custody. So you failed that child. Everybody failed that child. The system, the grandmother who was supposed to be there for the child. I mean, we know the mother failed the child. It's very sad. And these are preventable things. I do believe if Billy Joe would have made sure that he wasn't with Leilani before she went on the count, that he'd probably still be around.
Hey, you guys, I'm going to have to hop down. I have a situation with my child.
Okay, well, thank you. And we'll look for everybody sub up to Avery. The description's down there.
Yeah.
She's a real crime. So thanks, Avery. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
So yeah, we're all on board with that that one. And Everly's mother is another one. Could be prevented.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So many of these cases could be prevented. Like that's what's heartbreaking in most of this is that, when you look back and you see the pattern and the pattern repeats itself over and over and over in these cases. And why are we not learning anything from it?
Yeah. Why? I mean, these are things not to do in the next case let's put it this way. Harmony and Montgomery. That should have taught them a lot, and they didn't. They look what they did with Everly. Mm-hmm. So they didn't learn anything, and it is a continual. You're right, Frankie. A continual big circle of failure and failure. And these
because the entire CPS system needs to be reformed. Most of the rules and regulations that govern the CPS system were written back in the 1960s. And then they're not standardized across all 50 states. And so what it's going to take is a lot of reform. And what I want to do sometime in the upcoming year is organize a day of demonstration across all 50 states in front of the CPS offices. Bullhorn Betty and them, they want to sit there and run their mouths in front of fucking houses. That's not going to do any good. But you sit there and you march and you peacefully demonstrate appropriately in front of these houses, or not houses, but in front of these CPS offices. That might catch their attention, especially if it's taking place across everyone in the country.
And I've got your back. I've got my signs ready. I've got an incredible group of local people that will go march with me in front of ours. So hopefully we can find people in every city, every state. Let's get this done.
I've done lots of rallying before, so I'm not new to that. And I will most definitely, I can get people in Wisconsin and Minnesota and South Dakota, and we can get it done. There's it's just a matter of gathering and picking a day and saying we've had enough.
Right, right. If CYS is in a home, and this is a personal thing, but if they're in a home 21 times, there's a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of stories that'll keep you too motivated to go to these CPS offices and march on them. One of them I covered in a recent edition of Betheas Byte Reloaded. This was about an 11-year-old girl in California who was allegedly tortured and murdered, and when they found her, she weighed only 48 pounds.
Mm.
Yeah, her name was Arabella McCormick. She died in August, and she suffered from child abuse and malnourishment. That was according to court documents. She was the adopted daughter of Brian and Letitia McCormick. Her mother, the mom, age 49, the maternal grandfather, Stanley Tom, age 75, and the maternal grandmother, Adela Tom, 70, all charged with some form of child abuse, torture, murder. If the father had been alive, he would have been, according to a prosecutor, he would have been a defendant as well.
Oh wow.
It's
Jeez.
a saddening thing because me personally, I know what it's like as a foster child at one point. I know what it's like to be malnourished. I know what it's like to be abused. And I thank God every day that at the age of 5.5 years old, they was able to put me in a home with loving parents. I was adopted soon after, and I was given love and support ever since. But still, stories like this, what angers me. These are the kind of stories that set me off.
Oh yeah. Me too. I get pissed. That's why when Arctic goes on one of his lives and he has me as his co-host, which hasn't been happening because I've been so busy, but when I come back, we'll do it again. And that's why he keeps me in the back dropping links because I will lose it. I simply will lose it. I'll go ballistic. These things piss me off so bad. They really, really piss me off. Oh, Savannah has custody papers. Of what? For Quentin? No panel.
Oh my God.
No panel. You don't do a panel, huh? Oh,
another story I have. Another story that I have. I just found this out after I did my last live edition, and I'm looking up. I'm saying, you know what? I don't know whether I should go ahead and just do this right now or. But then again, when I looked at all the details from what I was gathered, I'm like, oh my God. This is a 6-year-old boy found dead under the floorboards of an Arkansas home. Surprise! Mom and boyfriend are charged with their murder, with the boy's murder. There was a little girl in the house that was also allegedly found with injuries resembling scalp burns.
Oh. Wow. These are cases we don't even hear about. That's what I'm saying. That's what Arctic does. He puts out the cases,
Yeah, there's been more information come out about that little boy. Basically, he was drowned in a toilet, and his name's been disclosed. Let me get to that real quick because it was sent to me on Discord earlier. Hold on a second.
Oh wow. Wow.
Where's it at?
These people adopting these children and then doing all sorts of evil to them. I stand by this statement till the day I die. These people are not parents.
Right.
Foster, adopted or otherwise. They're not parents. They're monsters.
Wow.
And like you said, Chicken, they no longer live under the bed.
Nope.
Okay, so the little boy's name that was found under the floor in Arkansas is named Blue Roland. His corpse was found buried under the floorboards of his Arkansas home last week. He died 3 months ago after being drowned in a toilet bowl by his mother's live-in boyfriend, according to the new filings.
Oh, Jesus.
You gotta be ribbing me, man.
Poor baby. Oh, Lord. You know, I mean, the torture that a young child goes through, I can't even, I cannot wrap my dumbest brain cell around it. I'm telling you, there's just absolutely no way. I don't think that way. So it's really hard. None of us do. Let's just face that. None of us think like this. So we would never be able to understand it because we could never do this to a child.
3 letters. Why?
Yeah. Smallest letters, 3 of them. That it's the biggest question. Why? And hope is the biggest, positive, and why is the biggest blocker. I mean, if we could figure out why, we could stop it, right? I mean, there's prevention in knowing what causes it.
Nip it in the bud, as the old saying goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and then you've got cases where CPS is called out time and time again, and they never even make entry into the home. One of the worst cases I ever saw was out of Houston, Texas, and it's about a little boy named Kendrick Lee. He had 3 brothers who were alone with him in an apartment. His skeletal remains, he was 8 years old. His skeletal remains had been in there for months, and his siblings were living in a filthy, disgusting environment. Gloria Williams and her boyfriend, Brian Coulter, are accused of leaving the 3 children in an apartment on Greencrest with little food and moving into a fully furnished apartment. The children were discovered when the oldest child called 911 on October the 24th, just after 3 p.m. Sergeant Dennis Walford, who is leading the investigation for the Harris County Sheriff's Office, described the 15-year-old as being the caregiver for his younger siblings. He believes the teen reached a point where mentally and physically he just could not take it anymore. When he arrived on the scene on Greencrest Drive in West Harris County, Walford said they entered a pitch black apartment that did not have electricity. When they turned on their flashlights, roaches ran across the floor. He described the apartment as an unsanitary environment where children were washing dishes in the bathtub. Pills and alcohol bottles were littered on the floor, but Walford said he does not believe the children were forced to consume any of it. Every few weeks, Walford estimated that Williams and Coulter would have groceries delivered for their children. He also believes that the electricity had been off for a few weeks, meaning the children could not cook the ramen noodles that they were being sent. It is beyond what the norm of humanity is and what you would expect from people. The investigation into the case is ongoing, according to Andrea Beal, a child fatality prosecutor with the Harris County District Attorney's Office, who is assigned to the case. The public does not want to believe that something this egregious would happen, according to Beal. People smell smells, but don't want to believe that this is a dead body, or they see flies and don't want to think it's because of a decaying child. They don't want to believe that the child is even being abused. Coulter is currently being charged with the murder of 8-year-old Kendrick Lee. The brothers recalled to investigators their mother's boyfriend beat him until his body was lifeless in the back bedroom of the apartment and covered him with a blanket back in November of 2020. A series of posts that he made in February of this year, so many months after the death of Kendrick, Coulter was in his apartment living his best life on Instagram, where he is seen cooking steak and they are listening to music, said a reporter with the Houston Chronicle. Investigators told them that that was the same apartment where the body of the little boy was still in that bedroom. The boy's mother is also charged with serious bodily injury, injury to a child by omission, and tampering with a corpse. At the end of the day, whatever law and facts support will be the charges that are filed and presented to the grand jury. Penalty are rising. Well, it's Texas, and that's express straight to the needle in the arm. So, goddamn, they better get the death penalty. But the district attorney's office said it's too soon to tell if it would be used in this case. The three brothers are now living together in foster care, according to CPS. And typically in cases like this, the prosecutors will meet with the children several times without discussing the case to build a rapport with them before asking them to recount the horrific details of the case, and said that they will likely have to testify in court. Wow. That's all I can say. And this article doesn't say it, but CPS had been called out to this house at least 6 times prior, and they never made entry to the house.
I'm without words. I cannot even fathom leaving children alone while they lived in a nice home. And there was, wow, what is the matter with people? Seriously, I
couldn't do it.
My
I
heart breaks.
can't do it. I can't fathom it. I can't.
Look, I am a person that, believes in privacy. Everybody believes in privacy. And like Arctic said, it smells. I mean, I'll tell you something. If I know what a dead body smells like. If I've been to a funeral, you can't, they don't cover it up that much with flowers. Come on. It's a sweet, sickening smell. I've smelled a dead rat or a mouse, whatever, before. So if I smelled that, I'd be calling on it. If I knew the house had children and their parents weren't seen, but you could hear kids and crying, and because let me say, these children must have cried, must have fought, must have been terrorizing around in an apartment, don't you think?
They didn't have any power. There was no water. They literally had to go to neighbors to get water to put in the bathtub to wash their dishes.
What?
They were eating the ramen noodles raw.
What?
And the neighbor gave them water and didn't report. What's the matter with that neighbor? Okay, where's everybody's moral compass? Has everybody just lost one? There were
neighbors that felt sorry for the kids and that would bring them pre-cooked food on occasion. So they knew what was going on over there.
Yeah.
But the thing is unfortunately, even though we're in 2022, so many people are still under this 1960s and 1970s mindset that it's not my kid, it's not my business.
Yeah. Same. Not my monkey, not my circus. Well, let me tell you, it's everybody's circus. Okay. We live in this circus. Right? We live in this. These are
all 3 rings.
Children should be protected above everything. Screw the new roads. Let's get some CPS that takes care of the children that are going to be on these roads. I just and the sentences that go for children crimes. Yeah, we don't want to go there either. Okay, because
8 to 20 years, trust me, I know.
Yeah, it's horrible. Then the people of the victims, they have to go back into court years and years later when they're just probably getting able to bear with things. And I can't speak personally, but I do know that
Garnett lost a grandchild, and she has to deal with the fact that they come up, their cases come up for parole.
They have to go there and relive it. They have to go and say, this is the reason why we don't want this person out of here. This is what they did. This is the long-term effect they've given us. It's an ongoing thing. You have to tell your story again. You have to re-victimize your own self.
And I will every year until I can't anymore.
Yeah. You can, why don't you speak on that? Your story's been out there, correct?
I've heard your story.
Yeah. So you lost a grandson, correct?
I lost a grandson. My daughter was addicted to drugs. And she was under the impression that she was going to be arrested. She called the boys' father and told him that he needed to come get the boys. And she proceeded to run from prosecution of drug charges. The father, turns out, was in the middle of being evicted from where he was living and took his two youngest children, my grandboys, to his brothers. They were there 3 months. CYS was called twice in those 3 months, and did nothing. It was 2 different counties because it was Crawford County and Elk County in Pennsylvania. And Crawford County called Elk County and said, look, we're looking for these kids. And Elk County went to one home and said, we can't find them. They were half a block away from a police station. And they couldn't find them in a town that has less than 5,000 people. My grandson was beaten upon his head 21 times.
Oh, God.
It was by his uncle and his wife. Should have been an aunt. These are people that you should be able to trust your children with.
Absolutely.
But obviously, Dad never checked the conditions of the home. They had no heat. The home was beyond filthy. There was drug and alcohol all over the apartment. And in fact, before the autopsy was done, the initial reports from the police were that he probably died from some kind of an overdose. And then, of course, once they got him in, they beat him with a blackjack. So they never fractured the skin. They caused, and I can't say the word, I believe conviction has fixed it for me, but it's like little brain bleeds.
Brain aneurysms?
No.
The
Fusions.
fusion? Yeah. No.
It starts with an A, but it's not important.
Right.
21 of those on his little brain. He was 5. And his 3-year-old brother had to have watched this because the apartment was a 1-bedroom, but they all stayed in one room because all the other rooms were full of garbage.
Wow.
And these monsters, it took 5 years for us to get a plea deal that they finally settled on for 20 years, but they're eligible for parole in 8. And in 2023, they will become eligible for parole.
Yeah. And definitely you're going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
This is, because thankfully you do have that in the justice system when you are.
Yes, if I have to walk to be there, I will be there.
Yeah, but you can send a notarized letter if you can.
Nope, I will walk.
Yeah.
I will be there. They are going to see me. They have seen me every time that I have been allowed in the courtroom.
Yep. And fighting for them to stay behind bars. Your word really does have a big pull because they're convicted. Okay. So what you say does have a large impact on what the parole board says.
I just sort of want to touch back to CYS. They were called, and in Pennsylvania, that's what we call it.
Yeah.
21 times.
Yeah.
Were they at the father's home while he had physical custody of these children? 21 times.
And nothing
was done. I was never notified. The mother was never notified.
Yeah, see, that's another thing. People that don't have custody or that are capable of helping or taking custody or guardianship are never notified.
No, because the father has that right to privacy, but what right do my grandchildren have?
When CPS is called, I believe that the next available family member to be able to take guardianship should be notified that this is going on, and then you can pay better attention being a family member. Don't you think that would help?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If they had just called me even the 10th time that they were at home, at the
Anytime.
home,
Yeah.
and said, hey, you know what? There's this issue. We're not sure what's going on. Would you mind becoming involved so that you can help us control that?
Not
Gladly.
even asking you that, just letting you know that there's a family problem. You know what I'm saying? Because if you know there's a family problem, you'll watch out for it. You'll pay more attention. You'll go there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You could,
Right.
you know, if they would have allowed you to know this information, you would have been able to help prevent
Yeah.
that from happening and probably have stopped it. So I believe that CPS and their privacy shit, look, I get it. Okay. I get how children need their privacy when they're in CPS and all this. And I get how the legal parent is, but when you're being called on from CPS that many times, there's a reason. 3 times you should be paying attention. Okay.
Yes.
You definitely be paying attention. There's something going on here. You cannot avoid that. After 3 times, you definitely should think there's a problem and look a little deeper in a different way and allow other family members to be aware of this so they might help prevent it.
Right. Right. So they can at least know that something's not jiving here.
Yeah.
You know, we're at the home and we can't get in. We can't, you know, whatever the case may be.
Right.
You know,
Well,
because
and in regards of all of that, the fact that those kids were living in that type of condition and were not removed from the home, regardless of whether they had been given to Garnett or not, is a failure of the system.
absolutely, because that definitely was an issue. I was going through cancer treatments at the time, and in the state of Pennsylvania, I would not have passed the health part of the evaluation. They would not have given me the choice.
But just you knowing about it, you could have had other family members.
Oh, absolutely.
You see, but I mean, the family can look at it in a different way than CPS can, because you're there, you're able to be there 24 hours or at different hours unannounced. You know what I mean? So if the family is aware that there's an issue, they can help prevent it. Okay. And even help it from being in the courts at all. But they don't do that. And that is a failure on their part.
Absolutely agree.
You know, and I'm again very sorry. We've talked
That's
about
only
this
because
before.
they're not on their job.
They're not.
They're not
Well, they
on
need
their
to
job.
change that job. They need to change that law or whatever it is. Maybe some, you know, sometimes you get a worker who goes beyond their job, right? I mean, there are very good social workers for children out there. We can't say that every system is bad, because there are some that go beyond their job. And I know some. And they take it on themselves to maybe bend a rule and let somebody know something. Or,
but they
you know,
to bend the rule.
Yeah, that's just it. They shouldn't have to bend a rule to do the right thing for that child, because every case is different.
The rules for the system fail these kids in so many ways, not even just in this particular case. I mean, had they even been sent to a non-relative foster home, there's a good chance Orion would still be with us.
Exactly.
But
just somebody being able to step in that
just, you know, in trying to cover these missing cases, we run into roadblocks because the system doesn't want the children's pictures out there if they're still in the system. So I covered a case here a few months ago where 3 siblings went missing, and we got a picture all right, but the picture was 4 or 5 years old of these children. They looked nothing like that now. And so when you're trying to cover these cases and get the faces of these missing kids out, you run into these types of roadblocks because CPS is like, well, they're in the system. We can't put a current picture out of them.
Yeah.
And that's crap. They're missing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like you all know, I am like really into the Native Americans, and I'm going to be, when I come back, probably at the end of the year, I will be dedicating most of my stuff will be on the Native American community, because they get no recognition. It is a very big issue with pictures for them, especially in one state, in one part of a state that I'm pretty close to right now. And I'm going to do some investigating on that because I do not understand it. I don't understand why they don't have pictures. And these are teenagers. They're not, and older, 21. And they don't have any picture. How does nobody have a picture to put for somebody missing? How did they not get reported for months? And this is an ongoing issue in the Native American community. They do not get looked at. And the reason being, which I'm finding out, is the law differences, the tribal law with the American law. And when they are found, they're never investigated. There are so many that are just, they died from the elements, died outside.
Which is
in the
bullshit.
elements.
Because I
bullshit.
can tell you right now,
Because some of them were strangled, beaten.
Well, and they're trafficked. They are trafficked at a higher rate than any other race in this country.
And they go missing 75% more than any other race.
And, Canada has a huge issue with their indigenous population as well. And they don't get the coverage. And some of the reason I can say that they don't get the coverage is their own communities will get snarky about someone trying to cover them being missing.
Yes, it is within the tribe and the American law. Very, very
whether here in the whether it's here in the United States or Canada, I have to agree with both Callie Dime and Frankie Hopkins combined. This is completely unacceptable, and the system definitely needs a facelift.
Yeah, it does. I mean, there's still
I'm a native Oklahoman. I grew up in Indian country, and I do try to I try to get as many faces of the natives out as I can. I mean, I think I cover probably the most diverse case file of creators out there, I think, or I try to at any rate.
There's nobody out there like you, Arctic. They don't do what you do. None of them.
If I don't put their case as a video, I try to at least put their flyers up on my community page.
You are the man of many faces. I like to call you Lightning Fox because he's very quick.
But
he's on it.
Yes.
And the sad thing is I see the lack of coverage, and I see the lack of urgency when I do put a video out on them, because I'll put a video out on a native boy or a native girl. It'll get 5-6 views. If I put a video out on a blue-eyed, blonde-haired boy or girl, 150, 200 views.
And right away. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just don't get it. I do not understand.
That's right. I honestly
do better.
Yes, we and you know what? That's why I'm really thankful for the community that we are building, as the way Arctic does his, the way Red Bull and Coffee, they cover a lot, and Betheas
Byte Reload.
Right on him, that voice there, that dark DJ voice. Got that DJ voice. They do a lot of, like, look at the cases that he was talking about. You don't hear about that. These are cases that don't get seen, don't get heard. And that's what we want to do. And with all of the subs that look at Bama Fan is in here. Let me tell you, one of the number one sharers of my subs.
Absolutely. Every time I post something, I don't have it drop for 5 minutes, and Bama Fan is sharing it to Twitter.
Exactly. An excellent sub. If I could give an award, Bama would have it. Okay. Because shares everything. Right. And that helps get it out. And that's the best way to help. Everybody's always asking, how can you help a creator? Sure. If you want to send them money, you go right ahead. I'm not asking for money. Never will be. And by the way, if you haven't noticed, no more monetization on my channel, because I'm not here to make money off of a child's back or a story. I'm not a tragedy pimp in any way. Okay.
Yeah. You don't see any cash apps scrolling across the bottom of our screen. You've got information on the missing 24-hour hotline, but you don't see any cash apps down there.
And you never will. I mean, if you want to help me as a creator, what you do to help me as a creator is share it. Be here, watch it, like it, share it. That's it. That's the only thing I ask of any of my subs, is to do that. I don't want, I had memberships. I don't want none of that. I'm not here for all that stuff. I'm here for the faces of the missing. I want more people to be aware of them, and I want to try to set them in front of the one set of eyes that will bring them home. So, and I can only do that
That's the key.
one way, and the subs do it another way because they share it out other ways. So,
I mean, and you never know who's going to see one of the videos if you all share it out. An example, there was a young man missing, and he had been missing for quite some time. A nurse in Florida had a John Doe that was registered at the hospital. She saw the video that I'd put out on this young man, and she was able to contact law enforcement. Law enforcement was able to get a hold of the mother, and there's still some ongoing stuff going on in the case, but we were able to get him in contact with his mother.
And let me tell you, can Bullhorn Betty say that? Nope. At any of those 20,000 more subs they have, those big channels can say that they have brought or helped bring home anybody. But Arctic has done it 4 times, I think. 4 times, right?
Well, Arctic hasn't done it. I don't want credit for that.
Okay, Arctic has put it out, and it has helped. Okay, it has helped in the finding of these people. Okay, and nobody else can say that. Sorry, they can make up their conspiracy bullshit. They can have their cash apps because they're going to go somewhere and do something. But what are they doing? You're paying for them to have a vacation and get them more airtime to beg for more money. Sorry, that's all they're doing. Okay, they ain't helping anybody.
And helping to pay for banners to put up in front of a dead child's house, I guess.
Yeah, you don't do that. That's not the right thing. The facts matter. The faces matter. That's it. Okay, facts and faces. And there are very few creators that does it. Okay, Level-Headed does it. Okay, he's a good channel. He puts out the facts and he does, and there's Arctic. There's, I'm going to call him the last outlaw, okay? Because it's just easier for me, all right? There's Natasha just started a channel. She's in our chat. There's Red Bull and Crime and Coffee. There's I'm sorry. There's more. But there's small channels. They don't get much views.
Kit is really good. Kit puts a number of missing.
Oh yeah, Kit. Yep.
Yes.
And Mississippi Granny chasing everybody knows she's a big channel. That's the kind of channels that do good. They're here for good. That's why we're called the Real Crime. You can take that true crime I'm going to go talk about the creators and then pass, give me a cash app so I can feed myself and whatever else. That's bullcrap channels. I'm sorry, but they have the most subs because drama sells. Facts are boring, I guess. But what we're doing is important. And I don't care if I sound conceited. What my channel is about is truth, facts, and it's important. The Outlaw, important. Arctic, important. Okay, these people are important channels because they don't care about the great crap. What they want to do is just put the faces in front of the eyes that will help bring them home.
Exactly.
And we
Can I step in for a minute?
You go right ahead.
I'm running at my limit. I got to go make dinner.
Okay.
And I wanted to say thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me represent our channel. Working with you guys is amazing. I respect and appreciate each and every one of our subscribers. It's Christmas time, guys. I'm going to put a little challenge out here. Arctic has tons and tons and tons of cases. Go to his channel, pick 5 of them, and over the next 3 days, share them. I don't care what 5 it is. Let's try to find somebody for Christmas.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was absolutely wonderful. I agree.
So you guys all have a very good evening. And once again, checking, thank you so much for allowing me on.
Oh,
I love you all. And I will talk to you all soon.
All right, honey. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Be blessed.
Okay, Arctic. I do recall saying something earlier in the thing about your Christmas tale there. You gonna read
You just
that?
want me to get clipped. I will read it.
Okay, everybody. So now here's your treat before we leave. So as soon as we're done with this, I'm going to play my ending. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. May you all have a very blessed and Merry Christmas. And yeah, I challenge you to do what Garnett said. That's a good idea. Let's put out I will do so. Got my commitment. Go ahead, Arctic. Take it
All
away
right,
with your Christmas story.
In the spirit of the holidays, I've written a little poem called The Night Before Griftmas. It was the night before Griftmas when all through the chats, all the grifters were stirring, raising the house and the cash apps. We're scrolling along the screens with dollars and the hopes that Turtle Dolly soon would be there. Molly Golightly was nestled all snug in her bra, and visions of dollar signs danced in her head. Dolly in his turtle shell and Ziggy in her mask had just doubled down for a big cash app. When out in the chat arose such a clatter, Benny sprang from the basement to see what was the matter. Away to the super chat he flew like a flash, ignored all the others to cash in on chat. The cling and the clangs of the money did flow. Bullhorn Betty's voice thundered and bellowed. When what to their wondering eyes should appear but a big mega sticker for Justin the queer. With a little old PP so flaccid and lifeless, I knew in a moment it must be Upchurch. More rapid than the Mustangs, the cash apps they came and whistled and shouted and called Kylie's name. Now Kylie, now Summer, now Gabby and Quentin, on Michael, on Gernon, and Bigsby. To the top of the wish list, to the top of the Venmo. Now chat away, chat away, chat away all. As fast as they block the troll in the chat, when they come on in and call Ziggy fat, they had the mods go through and pitch their merch while grifting and chatting with the personality of a birch. And then in the twinkling, I saw on the screen Ziggy's fake tears and running Maybelline. As I watched in amazement, taking it in, I heard a pop and silicone fly in. It was an implant all exploded and leaking, and Molly's dress was all gooey and sticking. A big massive leak in her boobie did have. And out from the garage, Fix-A-Flat Justin did grab. His eyes, how they twinkle at the fake titty, and we all waited for Betty to say something shitty. Into the chat came a small feller, a preacher, and a fortune teller. The stench of Eve he brought in the room, and vapors of yeast and tuna filled the room. She was skanky and grifting and had a big ball, and she wasn't psychic enough to find the mall. He was preachy and nasty and big on himself, and I knew he was likely hung like an elf. He spoke not a word and went straight to work and filled all the super chats, then turned with a jerk and laying his finger aside of his nose, up Justin's chimney, Tyler did rose. He sprayed. I'm going to leave that last part out. And I heard them exclaim, and the cash app was might. Merry Griftmas to all, and to all a good night.
Thank you, Arctic. That was absolutely fantastic. Share this out, you guys, because it's the best Christmas for YouTube streets ever. I'm going to die. Y'all have a Merry Christmas. Thank you. We'll see you in the next one, and I'll be back like fire after this year.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, play the game that we say. I need a break. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be